Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to our program on this first full day of RSA 2023. And I'm delighted to be here with an old friend, a very, very old friend.
Delighted, he says.
Steve Ragan, Manager of Global Product and Portfolio Marketing for Cisco.
One of the many, yes.
Back in the day, we were just a couple of scruffy
ragtag
cybersecurity writers,
yeah.
and now here you are.
Look at us, we've
with
grown
this
up.
Big title.
Yeah, we've grown up. We have titles that take many syllables to state.
So we're going to talk now for the next few minutes just about the vibe as we see it so far, the things that we hear people talking about, and I'm going to start with the biggest piece of hype of them all. What do you think it's going to be?
AI. Look at that. Look at that.
It's you make my job so easy.
It's going to be AI. It's always AI.
So people are talking about it on a few different levels. There's the risks involved with everybody using generative AI. So ChatGPT. Code writing, yeah. And then there's the other conversation, which is here's where AI is a benefit to security, and here's how our products achieve that. So talk about what you're hearing so far and what you think people should be talking about if you think they might be missing the boat so far.
So one of the things I'm hearing about, and I've heard this a couple of times today, actually, and it's people that are taking AI to the degree that, you know, on one hand, the left extreme is AI is going to replace people, so it's going to lead to jobs loss, and that's just absolutely not the case. And the other side is that AI is going to automate everything in the industry, and that is absolutely not the case. You know, AI is going to work best when you have humans to go along with it. And what I mean by that is, as it stands now, the best AI can do is take a quantitative view of your network and the telemetry that's on it and give you an outcome report. Like, here's what happened. Here's why I know that that happened. Here's what I suggest you would do about it. A human still has to take that and analyze it. And the reason a human needs to be involved is because a human knows the business. A machine will never understand your business. It'll never understand the goal. It'll never understand the pressures of regulatory compliance. It may know the laws, but it doesn't know the nuance behind the laws. And that is important. So when you think of how AI is going to transform the security industry or how AI is going to do something performative, really what AI is going to do is simplify things. It's going to take a lot of the steps out of, for example, writing after-action reports or compliance reports and things like this. AI can help there. But AI is not going to be the silver bullet that solves the problems in security. AI is not going to fix compliance. AI is not going to fix regulatory things. So, yeah, there's a lot that you hear about on the floor, and it's going to be all this week. They're going to talk about AI. But the advice I would give to people is don't look for AI to solve all of your problems. Look for AI to be an assistant.
And don't look to AI as this thing that might take your job.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Maybe
Never
someday, but, you know, not today.
And you know what? The funny thing is, if AI does get to the point where it starts taking low-level jobs in the industry, all that means is you're going to need to have new people go and be prepared to fix and tune the AI. Like, it's going to create jobs. It's not going to eliminate them.
Yep.
That's the thing.
Yep, totally. So, Cisco. So many components.
So many components. You know, it's really funny. If you had to talk to me.
Tell me about what the priority topics are this week, though.
So for Cisco, the priority topics are AI. We are talking about AI and the use of AI in our products and everything like this. We're also talking about XDR. But XDR in the concept of having native telemetry from all across the spectrum of your network, from, you know, email, endpoint, DNS, the network itself, you know, things like this, and leveraging that in a way to where you can simplify SOC operations and make it make sense. You know, so the humans have an easier time dealing with incidents or what could be an incident. You know, because a lot of times there are flags or things that look bad at first glance across the network when you see them pop up on the radar, but a little bit of digging turns out it's not. It's you know, it's not a false positive or false negative, but it's just not what you thought it was. So simplifying solutions by that, by giving granular visibility. all the way across. That's really what we're looking at. Also, identity management is another thing we're going to be talking about heavily this week. And part of the reason for that is, identity is still not only one of the most important assets to developing a security program, it's also a linchpin that you still see criminals to this day hanging on to get in. Look at all the ransomware incidents you see across the board. That stuff starts with identity. Mm-hmm. So we're reaching out across a number of spectrum things across this week. And of course, people are welcome to come visit us. You'll see our booths on North and South Hall. You'll find us. We're there.
That's right. I forgot you guys are in both.
Yeah. And in between, there's the threat wall, which is also fun to watch. I got to see that get built the other day. That was neat. I'd never seen that before.
Now, within the context of what we've talked about so far, mm-hmm. one of the things you and I have talked about before is the needs of the modern day SOC.
Yes.
And AI fits into that discussion. Identity is obviously a big mm-hmm. component of this discussion. But what are you hoping to see and hear? And I'll tack on to the end of the question, what is Cisco going to be talking about when it comes to how to get SOCs, how to help companies bring their SOC to the level that it needs to be based mm-hmm. on the size of their environment and scope?
So the thing you want to think of is, first of all, it's not about the size of your environment. The size of your environment should not count. You should be able to have the tools in place and the people and processes in place to deal with whatever may come your way. And that's where we want to focus. That's where Cisco's going to be looking at. It's simplifying SOC operations to where we're meeting the customer where they are, no matter where they are. We've got an environment now to where hybrid work is literally the norm. It's not the exception anymore. And, think about it. A decade ago, man, with the jobs that you and I had, we were lucky because we got to work remote and we got to work wherever we wanted to.
Yep.
But now everybody gets that because most workers are, for the most part, at least 2 to 3 days a week working remote.
Thank you, COVID.
Exactly. Well, yeah, if ever. But the thing is, you asked, where are we seeing that? What kind of conversations are we want to get into? We want to talk about this. We want to talk about meeting you where you are and protecting you all across the board. You should not have to think about security when you start to work. It should just be there. It should be underlying. So when you think of, SOC operators, it should be simple for them to judge the network and the performance of the network and the incidents that may roll in based on a glance. They shouldn't have to do 50 billion steps to realize that was a phishing email. It should be flagged. That was a phishing email. Mm-hmm. We've seen hundreds of it like this. This is why we flagged it. This is what it looks like. That's what we're giving you. It's the information and the insight across the board, and that's what every company needs. They need more telemetry. They need more insight and viewpoints, and it shouldn't have to be 50 different vendors to achieve this. There's no reason why you can't be built on a platform. And that's something I've been looking for decades now. It's just the ability to simplify operations, because I remember being in a cubicle having to try to deal with incidents. It's annoying when I've got to go to 50 different panels to get an answer to a single question. Why should I have to? And unfortunately, we've built an industry around doing that.
Yep.
We really have. Keep looking at your cup. The cup's there, Bill. It's not going anywhere.
Steve is doing that just to razz the people behind the camera who are worried about the coffee cup.
Yeah. The wonderful people, by the way, without whom none of this conversation would be even happening. Just saying.
That's right. Well, that was a good save. Well done. So
we're professionals, man.
We are. So let me ask you now, and we're down to the last 5 minutes, so this might be the last question I get to
crunch
ask.
Time. I'm in trouble.
Talk a bit about where you'll be this week, who you'll, without naming names, who you'll be talking to. Stick to the personas.
So, stick to the personas? Okay, yeah, I could do that. So one of the biggest personas I'm going to be talking to this week, and I'll be bouncing around between the booth and various little meetings across the board, are SOC operators and Secops. Straight across the board, Secops. And a couple of DevOps people and some IT ops people because they're old school friends and I've known them forever. Like I want to get their opinions and their viewpoints, and things like this. So I will be talking to a lot of SecOps things, and actually Cisco's itself will be doing a lot of DevOps and SecOps and IT ops and NetOps. Like we're going to be talking to the wide spectrum. And fortunately, we're in a place right now to where, SecOps is very much a thing at RSA, but so is DevOps, so is IT ops. Like it's a little bit of everything here when you look in the environment. In fact, as we've been sitting here talking, I've been watching people move across the hall in front of us, and you could probably hear them in the background, the little static noise. And the thing is, like when you look at these people walk through, they're from all walks of life, all points of view. They've got different enterprise operations, some scaled up, some scaled down. Some know what they want with their security programs, some don't even know where to start. And these are the people we want to talk to because there's a lesson for all of them, and there's a way to work with all of them. And the ultimate goal for all of this is to make the industry better. It make the internet suck less, That's where we want to be.
Yeah.
And I stole that line from Andy Ellis, and I'm going to keep using it.
That's a perfect way to end this. Steve, always a pleasure.
My boy.
This was a lot more professional than the podcast we did back in 2014 at DEF CON.
It very much was. None of us are going to get fired for this one, so that's a good thing.
Everybody, have a great rest of your day.